Welcome in everyone, this is Julie Max and the Main Stamper, and we are talking this week a little bit about the Petal Park bundle, which is the Petal Park Stamp Set, and of course the Petal Park Punch, which is a builder punch. We're going to talk about the punch in just a minute. So we have been using the stamp set and the punch combined for the card class for this week. So the stamp set is photopolymer. You can create two-step stamping by stamping the inside of your flowers in one color and then the outline of the flowers in another color. And we created 3 cards this week during my card class where we did just that. We used the ink on color cardstock for this card. So that's one way that you can get colorful, bright flowers. And then on this card, we used white cardstock. So there's a big difference between color cardstock and white cardstock. And we did some stamping on second generation ink here for this particular flower set. And then for the last card, I just used tone on tone. I used color cardstock with the same color ink, and we did the outline stamp. So those are 3 different ways we've explored using the stamp set and the punch. Don't forget, with your qualifying order this week, you do get 6 of these card kits that you can get at home in the mail and then create with me. This is my color swap card, which I shared today. So it's the color swap of the red version, the Petal Pink and Sweet Sorbet. I did up in Pacific Point and Balmy Blue. And for these flowers, I actually had some fun yesterday with some watercolor paper. So this is watercolor paper. I took my ink refills, washed my paper really nicely with the watercolor wash, and then I stamped the petals here so you can kind of see some of the variation in colors, which are really fantastic. And I let this dry a little bit, stamped the outline stamp in Memento ink, and then punched them out. So I was able to get some really pretty, bright, colorful flowers like that. And so I've been really using and focusing this week with this bundle on stamping and punching to get those images. But let's talk now about just the builder punch, what it is and what it isn't. So this is the punch, obviously. You can see that you get 3 flowers and you get a little leaf. So this makes it a builder punch. So it is definitely different from just regular punches. This is regular punches. This is the 2-inch and the 1 3/4, which are just now available back in the Stampin' Up! Online store. Online exclusives were released on March 1st. There's all kinds of new products. This is a single-use punch. Now you can layer them together, certainly. I did that on these cards, right? I put the 2-inch circle punch and the 1 3/4 together, and I created a layer. However, you have to use 2 separate punches to do that. So you need 2 of those when you're using just single-use punch. Builder punches, just like this one, they have a lot more going on, right? We have 4 images here. Now, we don't really think of this as much as a builder punch because it does punch out stamped flowers and stamped images, and we use them separately. When you see like this one here, the Deer Builder Punch, it's got the little deer, it's got a nose, and it's got antlers. So when you think about some builder punches, you're really thinking about, I'm going to put the deer down, then I'm going to give him antlers, I'm going to give him a nose, and you're building a scene. But with this flower punch, I didn't think right away of it as a builder punch, but it can definitely be so. So basically, if you wanted to punch out some cardstock, and this is what it looks like, we're just going to punch out some cardstock, you can create 3D type looking flowers. So this gives you that builder look, right? So this is just plain cardstock. I didn't stamp it, and I sponged the edges. And then here's another one that I did in white. So you can kind of see that you're building a flower using the punch pieces. So I wanted to do that with you real quickly here. I'm going to just bring in some white cardstock. We're going to try one in polished pink. So I'm just going to turn that upside down and get my 3 flowers here. So you can see these are very plain looking flowers when you don't stamp them. They're really kind of boring looking. And the best way to get them to get a little bit of kind of like a 3D effect is to bring in your bold folder and just kind of peel and pull here on the outside edges of your petals. Just kind of rotate your flower and just kind of bend it one way or the other. So you can kind of see it has a little bit of a bend to it. Maybe if I hold it up this way, you can see a little bit more of a bend, right? So use your bone folders because it's a lot easier than just trying to manipulate the paper by hand. If you just try to bend your paper by hand, you're really creating a lot of wrinkles. And ask me how I know, because I actually did. I tried to just manipulate this with my fingers and it was very wrinkly. So I thought, okay, we're gonna do this the good old-fashioned way. We're gonna bring our bone folder in, we're gonna curl our paper up a little bit. The blade on, or the edge, I should say the edge on your bone folder just helps to break up the fibers in a nice fashion, whereas our fingers kind of just get in there and they're just a little bit more destructive. So we're going to try a pink flower and see how it turns out. We're going to bring in some polished pink ink and my sponge dauber, and this time I'm just going to go ahead and, again, I like the white flowers where you can just add some color in. Think about how many colors you could do these in. They're just so delicate, I think, with the white and then a darker rim along the edges of all the little flower petals. So I obviously played with purple a little bit here, and I was having fun with purple. You can come back later and check out my Main Stamper Facebook page. I'll be sharing on Instagram and Pinterest. I'm going to share my finished projects. I haven't quite turned them into tags or cards just yet. So now you can see all of these little flowers. How adorable are they with just a little edge of pink on them, right? So pretty. All right, let me close up my ink pad. We're going to bring in some Tombow glue. I am a green glue girl. I love the green glue. And we're just going to glue together each of these, one on top of the next. So we're going to start with the biggest one on the bottom. And you can turn these petals just however slightly you want to get the look that you want. And then we're just going to add a little bit more glue. Now, when I add the glue, I want to caution you to not go crazy with the glue. If you add too much glue, it's going to glop onto the petals that you want to still have a little bit of play with, right? So you want to be able to pick these up, these little petals, and pull them to get that 3D look. So if you have too much glue in there, it's going to glue your petals completely down and you're not going to be able to pull. Now you want to be careful while the glue sets, because I could really just pull this right back off again, but I'm just trying to have a little play with it here to kind of show you the 3D flower effect that you can get with the Builder Punch, and how fun it is just to have this punch on hand so that you can create just some really pretty little flowers. Look at how cute that is, right? Now I happen to have a very old circle punch that I use all the time on my projects. Now this is an old retired punch. So you can see here I did the yellow and I did an espresso, and I actually when I punched these out, I did actually also sponge them a little bit. So this is crushed curry. So you can see the difference between the two. So if I put this on here, and I don't know if you can tell on camera, but there's some nice little crushed curry ink on here. So it's kind of sponged on and it doesn't look flat, right? But when I put a flat, non-sponged center in here, it definitely looks flat. So if you're sponging the edges, you do want to take the time and also sponge, and I did the same thing here. I sponged the early espresso. I don't know if you can tell on camera or not the color difference, but I made this so much darker by just sponging that a little bit. And I'm not sure what color do we want to put here on our pink flower. We've got the brown, the early espresso, and we have this one. Now I haven't sponged them yet, so oh, definitely yellow. I think we're going to definitely go yellow. So when you sponge these, again, you're just going to bring in your sponge dauber and your ink, your coordinating ink. And you can maybe see here on my paper, my scrap paper here, where I went right over top of them and made sure that it darkened down a little bit. You can absolutely turn your little circle here a little bit if you want to, and just get that a little bit darker and deeper in color. And that's just going to look really nice on our little flower. Now, if you don't have this particular circle punch, this little tiny one that I use for my flower centers, you can look to see, do you have other builder punches or other small circle punches that would work for a flower center? And then my last resort is always to bring in a good old-fashioned hole punch. There's nothing wrong with a hole punch. You definitely can, use that. It does make a much smaller little center here, the hole punch does, but it's definitely doable. So here are a few of my really sweet little builder flowers that I created using the Builder Punch, and I just think that this is a really great addition here to your craft room, because you can do so much with it. If you have the stamp set, you can definitely stamp and cut punch out quickly all kinds of pretty flowers, but you can also use them, you know, in a builder method too. So I just wanted to take a look at the builder punch with you, explain kind of how that works. Look at all these pretty flowers that I get to play with soon. So I'm going to be making even more finished projects. So make sure you come back and check out all of my great designs. Thanks for watching. Have a great day, everybody. Bye.